Right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. Let's start on a more positive note this week because there are some negatives we have to go through. So we'll start at Chelsea. Ty, a very good start to Tuchel's reign at Chelsea. Win against Tottenham and win against Sheffield in the last week. How are you feeling?
Life's good at the moment, man. Well, to start off with, obviously, Thursday. First win against the top 6 team this season. It's a bit of a joke that it took this long, really, but let me not get into other people. It was good. Tottenham didn't really do anything against us. We probably should have scored more, but we just can't finish our chances. And then Sunday, Sheffield United, they actually came at us. I was a bit surprised, and it was good to see how we kind of dealt with the press. I mean, they didn't score a goal, we did, which was, let's not get into that one. The way we moved the ball was all right. My problems with Jorginho started to come back a little bit. Like, as soon as he gets pressed, he struggles. So I still think in that area we do need to improve. Like maybe bring Kante back in or sign another defensive mid in the summer. Mason Mount stepping up again, proving all his haters wrong, which still to this day, why I don't understand why he's still getting hated. A lot of the time it was to do with Lampard. Lampard's not here anymore. But yeah, Werner's looking better. Now he just needs that goal to get going again. So I was hoping he'd take the penalty, but even he said that he doesn't really deserve to take penalties at the moment when he's not scoring actual goals. And he made a joke about his miss against Luton as well. So, but yeah, life's good at the moment. I'm confident about top 4.
Yeah, I think your guy up 1 point off it, 3 points, 1 point.
Yeah, 1 point.
1 point off it. You've got 3 wins and a draw so far under him. I think you got FA Cup this week, like midweek. 2 more playing games, then obviously the big game against Atletico Madrid. Do you think before then he'll have his preferred 11, or do you think it's just too soon for thinking about Champions League?
I think it depends on who's fit, because at the moment, obviously, I think Kai Havertz is a big part of his plans, but obviously he's been out for the last 2 games with an injury. So, and like with Chelsea, it's like as soon as we get a fully fit squad, someone will go down with a minor knock or something. But then that's not really an excuse because it happens to every team. But I don't think
he'll have an excuse. Sounds like an excuse, but
Nah, that's not an excuse. I don't think he'll have his best 11 until maybe a month and a half, maybe, because he's only had literally a week or 2 now with the squad. So I reckon maybe by mid-March, maybe he'll have his best 11, because hopefully everyone's fit by then. And I'm hoping the likes of Kai Havertz and Callum Hudson-Odoi are in at 11.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I did want to say is, I mean, I don't want to take any credit away from Thomas Tuchel here, but I'm looking at the 4 games he's played: Wolves, Burnley, Spurs, and Sheffield. Maybe apart from Spurs, I think it's fair to say it's not the hardest run of fixtures, especially considering the way Wolves are playing. And now you're 1 point off top 4. Do you think Lampard could have done the same in this time and got 1 point off Liverpool?
No, because I think if you look at Lampard's last games, it didn't look like they were playing for him at all. And like you hear the way players talk about Thomas Tuchel's tactics and stuff like that. It's like Alonso and players like that. It does sound like they're taking some digs at Lampard. Obviously, that's what everyone thinks. But to be honest, I don't think Lampard would have beat Spurs. I mean, he might have beat Wolves, who knows? And then Burnley, like potentially, like it's all like you can all just guess, innit? Like you'll never know. But I mean, he could have, but who knows? But I don't think. But then the thing is, like, we still need to rely on other teams dropping points. I mean, Liverpool look a mess at the moment, so who knows? Because they've got Leicester next, so hopefully they drop more points. But yeah, maybe who knows what Lampard could have done.
Wait, didn't you beat Burnley 1-0 or 2-0?
It's 2-0.
No, just answer quick. 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
Didn't Lampard beat Burnley 4-0?
3-0.
3. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe. So, Jack, what do you think? Liverpool, Leicester next game for those, they're playing next, so one team will definitely drop points, maybe both. Do you think Chelsea can almost capitalise that and push for a good top 4 spot by the end of the season?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, because very rarely you won't see it, but normally there's always a bounce when you get a new manager.
Hmm.
So you're always going to run. So it'll be interesting to see once maybe he not died down, but the players be like, all right, he's our manager now. And we'll just see. Like sometimes you might get a bit of complacency. I just feel like that could creep in a little bit and then that could cause some problems. But like Ty said, I think they are very good now for top four. I think they will get it.
Fair enough. Well, Jack, let's go on to United. It was a bit of a up and down week for you, shall we say. We'll start off with the first game. Tied the record for biggest ever Premier League win against Southampton. They got another 9-0 defeat. What were your thoughts on that game?
I don't know really because it wasn't a 9-0 game. I think it was very clinical. I don't know. It's like when you see 9-0, it's like the other team. You feel like even if you didn't watch it, you would feel like the other team just stopped playing after like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's hard to take too much from the 9-0. I mean, when everyone was on the high, I know we'll get onto it, but it just shows how quickly it can come down after the Everton result, and it just about not papering over the cracks. We don't have that many cracks, but it's like. Once we won that 9-0, everyone was like, oh, everything's great again, blah, blah. But there's still some issues with the defence. But, I mean, good to see Martial coming and scoring 2. Bruno getting back on the score sheet with Ty's favourite penalty. But, no, it was a good victory.
Yeah. I mean, Southampton down to 9 men, 10 men for most of it. Then Bednarek obviously getting sent off later and scored an own goal. It wasn't a great game for him. Then we'll come on to the Everton one. I can't lie to you. I fell asleep. I went to sleep at half time. It looked like United were set for the win. Bruno scoring an unbelievable goal. And then Rashford putting a great cross for Cavani as well. But then I woke up and I saw it was 3-3. They scored 2 quick goals at the start of the second half. It seemed like McTominay would have scored the winner, but then Calvert-Lewin scored very, very late on. What do you think went wrong for you? Is it just individual mistakes? Is it just as a team you weren't there? Got a bit complacent?
I don't think I've ever been so pissed off after a game in my life. We didn't even lose.
Mm-hmm.
But it basically was a loss when you're 2-0 at half time. I was so annoyed. And it's funny because that game I thought we played very well. Especially but even not both. I think they've caused us a few problems, but because we didn't expect them to shape up the way they did, they played like a diamond in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
We expect them to play with 2 wingers. So when our fullbacks were bombing on and the 2 strikers split, they were causing us problems down the channels. But luckily, I don't know why they didn't utilise it enough in the first half. Well, obviously, Ancelotti would have said something at half time, and you could see the first 15 minutes of the second half, they were just all they were doing. But I think we controlled the whole game. Some of our attacking play was very good. One of the best, probably, halves I've seen all season. And I'm thinking, yeah, we'll go on and score 3 or 4. And then the second half starts. It's just the lack of pace in our centre backs. That's all we get done. It's never a 50-yard banger into the top corner. It's always individual mistakes. I can, but it's not obviously not Maguire's fault or Lindelof's fault that they're born slow or they're slow. But it's just, I don't know. It's just annoying. I can't really explain it. He's injured again. See what I mean? The guy that we all went can't stay fit. But to the first goal, obviously you say Maguire thought he can't keep up. Probably say De Gea should have done a bit better, but it's kind of that quick. Maybe where else can you parry it? I don't know. Second goal, I mean, it's disastrous. This guy's a quality football player standing on the edge of the box by himself. I don't even see that in Sunday League, let alone professional football. And the third goal, I mean, they played over the added time. And, I'm just thinking, I don't want to think about it. But it's just awful.
Yeah, I mean, The third goal, I saw some people saying De Gea's thought should have come out a bit quicker, a bit braver. I think you can see that argument as well, but at the same time, Maguire, I believe, was the one that kept everyone on side for that goal as well. It's not great from him there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was looking at that. I saw the screenshot of it, and I was just trying to see. He was playing a lot of people on side, but I don't know whether he was playing Calvert-Lewin on side. I can't remember if anyone touched it before Calvert-Lewin, but if it didn't just went to because everyone thought it was handball, but he touched him on the chest. I feel like he was playing like he was on side anyway.
Okay.
But
everyone just creates them pictures just to suit their agendas anyway, man. So I never look into them pictures too much.
Yeah, and I think I can see that what you're saying about De Gea, but I think if you're 1-on-1, I think if it's the save, I think I think the striker should score every 1-on-1. In my opinion, I think they should. So even some people are saying first goal and third goal De Gea's fault. We still win 3-2. So you can't blame this loss of De Gea. So again, it's just individual mistakes, like every game.
Is there not a bit of a silly foul from Thingy, Tuanzebe?
No, it is, but I put maybe a little bit of that on Ollie. I get you trying to see the game out, they're going to do long balls, but you're bringing a guy on, that came after 10 months out, played a game, hasn't played. Last game he played, he didn't play very well, and he got racially abused.
Yeah, his confidence.
You bring him on in a tight game when it's a high pace game. He hasn't got used to the pace yet. He comes on. It's a silly foul, but still we should be defending that better.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come on to that now because right now United are 5 points behind City. City also have a game in hand, so they're looking strong. But we'll come on to the Tuanzebe whole situation now. So we didn't really go into last week. I think it was Tuanzebe, Reece James, and there was one Marcus Rashford. I think they were the three.
And Martial got it as well.
Oh, Martial as well, sorry. There were four of the ones who were racially abused on social media. This week has been Tuanzebe and Lauren James, who was Reece James's sister, who plays for Man United's women's team, who lost to Reading 2-0, I believe, this weekend. I'm not trying to defend it, but before, to me, it seemed like racism was in football was when, say, it was like a big game, I don't know, say United Liverpool, someone might have missed an open goal to win the game, and that's when they're racially abused. I'm not trying to defend it, it was still wrong. That's what it seemed like. But now it seems like there's these individual accounts who are just not like bots. They're like people make these random accounts, no images, no names on it, no ID, nothing. And they're just waiting for someone to make a mistake. They're just waiting for someone to slip up that one bit, and as soon as they do it, they're on it. They're knowing wait 10 off notifications of their post and they're on it straight away. They're just wanting to fuel it up. And it just doesn't make sense to me as to why this is happening, because I mean, I didn't watch the United second half, but I wrote to the group chat the day later. I can't remember which one it was, but someone said Tuanzebe is definitely going to get abused for this, and they were right. But it just doesn't make sense as to why it's getting worse, because it is getting worse, far, far worse. I mean, I think it came out today that governments are making new rules now, new laws to hold social media platforms more, what's the word?
Accountable.
Yeah, more accountable for this, thank you. So I guess that's a step in the right direction, but I mean, I've asked you guys these questions so much. What's the solution? Is there a solution? Is there anything to actually make this go?
Look, until they start asking for some form of ID when you're creating these accounts, it's the only way you're gonna have some sort of solution, because this is becoming a joke now. Even I was watching a interview from Hudson-Odoi, I think it was on beIN Sport or something, and he was talking about, and they asked him about the racism and stuff, and they asked how apparently Twitter don't think the use of the monkey emoji is racist, and obviously he was getting a bit angry, saying that just doesn't make any sense, because obviously you know what their intentions are. It's obviously racial abuse. So it just makes absolutely no sense how there's still not much being done, and how after everything that's happened, even a few years ago when it was Raheem Sterling, still nothing nothing's being done, and it's ridiculous. Like, it just shows how stupid some people are, like, to make fake accounts and then just say all this stuff. And that's how easy it is. It just, and the fact that people can predict that someone's going to get racially abused before it happens it's ridiculous. But obviously, it's just so stupid.
And I think just iterating what Ty said, I think that's the perfect solution, is asking for ID. However, social media companies are a long way from doing that, because they'll think,
Yeah.
are we asking for ID? A lot of people won't maybe want to do it, won't have it. We're going to lose so many people on our platform, lose money. It's all about money these days. So although that's the solution, whether that's going to happen, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking to myself, people will be afraid to put ID, make an account, because they think, oh, if it gets hacked, that's our ID gone, that's valuable information gone, which is understandable. But at the same time, it seems like the only solution right now, because nothing is working. If it's not like we're making progress out, it's getting worse. I mean, I have no idea, man, what the FA can do. I mean, if the FA can even do anything. I think it's good that clubs are now coming out. Like, I think after the Rashford incident, Man United came out, put out a statement to help to support Rashford, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's not really enough.
It's not going to make the person, they're not going to be like, oh, look at that letter, I better stop.
Yeah.
It could be like, look at that letter. It's more attention to me, I'm going to carry on. That's what I think.
I think the other example was the Ian Wright one, where a couple of months ago now, when someone was like not sliding DMs, someone DM'd Ian, someone DM'd Ian Wright and with racial abuse, and then I think this week the court case finished and he wasn't charged with anything. I think he just has to do some what do you call it, community service. I think that was it. Didn't really get charged for it. Yeah, and then Ian Wright came out saying, even though he doesn't want them to obviously get like a serious punishment, but he at the same time he has to be held accountable for it right now, because otherwise there's no point of doing it at all, is there, if they're not going to be punished for it at all. So I think that's something.
End of the day, man. All these letters, yeah. This is just like when you mess around in school and then your teacher rings up your mum or something, and then you're like, oh, okay, don't do it again. Oh, so I can just go and do this again and just go unpunished. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense how more stuff just isn't being done. Like, at least before you could hand out stadium bans, but then even then, like, still the same stuff was going on because like more people just keep doing it and stuff like that. And now all these people on social media accounts just saying all kinds of nonsense. Obviously, like, loads of different clubs get just put in the racist category, when really it is just there's a racist section in every single fan base. I can almost guarantee that. It's stupid.
Yeah. Then now as well, today it came out, Mike Dean has asked not to officiate any games this weekend because he's received death threats and abuse. Again, I'm not saying he's a great referee, but it doesn't mean that you abuse someone and send death threats. I mean, come on, man. It's just
made a mistake.
Yeah, he made a mistake.
Whether it was a bad mistake or not, he's made a mistake. And that, like you said, maybe you can to yourself, oh, what has he done that for? What an idiot. But to go online and give him death threats and his family.
Yeah, exactly.
It is just a sport at the end of the day, man. You watch it on TV. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Fair enough criticizing him, that's fine. But come on, abusing, saying death threats, it's pointless. But let's try bring it back now. Well, I say more positive, not positive. Arsenal, not a great week for us. We'll start with the Wolves game. Wolves game. I mean, like Jackie said, the Everton game, I think that was one of our best first half performances probably all season. We started strong. Saka hit the post after like 30 seconds. Pepe scored a great goal on his right foot as well, which I couldn't believe. Saka had a disallowed goal and Pepe hit the post after as well. So it could have easily been 4-0 at halftime. But then, right at the end of the half, I'm not going to lie, I thought half was done. The time was up. Leno had a goal kick. So I was like, all right, that's the half done. He takes it. All of a sudden, I look back at the TV and it's a penalty. And I just couldn't believe it because the first issue is I don't know why the ref hasn't blown for halftime. even though he hasn't meant to obviously foul William Jose, it is a foul because he's taken him out. Not taking him out, but
Yeah,
it's caused him to
tank of
fall.
legs,
Yeah,
even though he
exactly.
didn't mean to. Yeah. If he wasn't there, he's shooting.
Exactly. So fair enough, it's penalty. But the red card doesn't make sense to me in the first place. But then we'll get back onto that. Fair enough. Is Wolves who weren't at the time doing very good have just got back into a game which they weren't really a threat in. 1-1 at half time, opponents on 10 men. The Moutinho out of nowhere just scores an absolute screamer as well. Rocket, probably one of the best goals I've seen this season. 2-1 down. It wasn't looking great for us, but our heads didn't drop. And something you see with us a lot is our heads dropping after something like that. We've, as Arsenal fans, Arsenal players, have almost like victimized ourselves a lot over the last few seasons. And if something like that goes wrong, we've allowed ourselves to just allow it to affect us and just capitulate. But we didn't do that. And then Leno, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he just misjudged the bounce of the ball, but he's one of the last people I expect to do something like that. It's made a horrendous mistake. Down to 9 men. But again, even though we weren't really attacking through, I think we did have a shot at the 92nd minute. We didn't really capitulate. The 9 people on the pitch, there was just 4 banks of 2 and Ronaldo in goal. But they held strong. They didn't concede anymore. That could have easily been a 4-5-1 game. You saw what happened to Southampton when they went down to 9 men. I know Man United and the Wolves are 2 different teams, but it could have easily happened. But, the players looked like they were still determined to not be embarrassed almost at that point, but just try to get something out of the game. So that's sort of, we lost and it was the end of our good Premier League run since Boxing Day. It was still a bit confident for me, we can get the points in the next game. Then during the week, that's when the bigger problem was for me. So we saw we talked about Bednarek earlier against Man United. Almost an identical challenge to Luis. If anything, Bednarek had more contact on Martial. How one incident, so Bednarek's got rescinded, wasn't a red card. He played the next game on the weekend, scored another own goal. But then Luis didn't get that same decision, and we missed him. And I said a couple of weeks ago, or maybe probably last week, I didn't trust the guy. He was on good form for us. But it just doesn't make sense because that decision affected the whole game for us. Because if we won that game, we would have gone up to 6th as well. That's big for us. And I reckon, even though we can't really tell, we would have probably won that game because the way we were playing, because the Wolves are playing, the form we were on. I mean, to then find out that this decision had been made, I know football Twitter is obviously a stupid place. A lot of people are saying there's agenda since Arsenal and it happens to every team. But it didn't make sense to me. That was the first game of the bad decisions for me. Then the Villa game came along. It was a different one, but this same outcome for me. Villa game, we were poor. Right from the first second. I mean, I said the other week as well, I didn't trust Cedric. This is why I didn't trust Cedric. To do that in the first minute of the game against the Villa, who are doing so well this season, they've already beat us 3 at the Emirates. It was just stupid, and Ollie Watkins scored again against us. So from the first minute, Villa, that's easy for them. They don't have to attack us the same way they would have had to if it was 0-0. Not all the pressure's on us to perform. We weren't good enough at the level we should have been, or the level we have been for the last few games, anyone on the pitch. I don't think we were terrible, but I don't agree with Arteta saying we dominated the game because it's easy to say that when they just sat back, we could just almost stat pad it. We're going to have possession, we're going to have more shots if they sit back. But then near the end of the first half, Ezri Konsa takes down Saka. For me, that's a red. Because with Saka's pace, I think it was Cash next to him. I don't think Cash is catching up. So for me, that's a red. But then even then, kind of almost debate if you want to say Cash is going to catch up, maybe give that yellow. But the penalty decision for me is clear as day. Emi Martinez is grabbing his shirt and has Paul Lacazette down in the corner. I have no idea how that's not a penalty. And that's just one of the decisions that if it goes in our favour, we had a momentum in the game now, we can bring on the likes of Aubameyang and get another goal and get us a good winner away to Villa this season. So for me, that it didn't cost us the game because I think Villa would have won. But if we get those 2 decisions, or even one of those decisions, that's a big turning point in the game for us. But I mean, what did you guys think of that whole week of refereeing decisions in terms of Arsenal?
You go first.
I mean, it's just one of them things, man. It happens. You know what I mean? Like it's happened to my club before. I can tell you straight up, 2009 Barcelona. I've seen it. But yeah, with David Luiz, you know what it is? It's probably because, and it shouldn't be like this, but it's because they know him and they know that obviously he's had red cards before and all that kind of stuff. So he's got a history with Bednarek. I don't really remember this guy getting sent off for Southampton before. Like it shouldn't be like that, but I think that's just the way it is. Like it's the same with Zaha and diving. Like they know he dives, so they're not always going to give him penalties. And I think they need to look into Mo Salah with that as well, but we're not going to get into that at the moment. But yeah, like I think it's just one of those things where they know David Luiz and how, you know, how he has been red carded before and all that stuff. But with the Saka, I saw that one, but I didn't see the penalty incident, so maybe Jack can go into that one. But with the Saka one, I do see your point. It probably could have been a red card, but obviously they probably felt like Cash was there as well, so it's probably not he probably wasn't the last man. So yeah, I think obviously that one's always 50-50, but the David Luiz one should have definitely been overturned. If Bednarek's one as well, that one's a bit sus. But yeah, go on, Jack. Say whatever you need to say.
So yeah, like Joel said when you're speaking about it, it probably was a red card. But if Bednarek was overturned, then David Luiz has to get overturned. If Bednarek wasn't overturned, then you can say, yeah, both red cards. But considering that got rescinded and overturned, I don't know how the FA decided yet that was intentional. You can see Bednarek go in, but still touch him, which is accidental. But you can't tell me that David Luiz meant to put his knee right in that position, knowing that he's running like that his boot's going to touch his knee. So I think start of the week, that's poor, and I would have been annoyed as an Arsenal fan. And then the Aston Villa game, it's the red card one for Konsa is tough because I think it's just inside the half, or just like not that far into it, and Saka's quick, but Cash isn't slow either. So I think it's hard to say, oh, Cash wouldn't have got there. Yeah, but what if? It's ball about ifs and buts. So I think that was probably right to give a yellow. But Lacazette, this guy's standing next to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's pulled his shirt to the floor, pulled him on him, and the goalkeeper got a free kick for it. That's, even though I don't really like Arsenal, if that happened to my team, I would have been so annoyed. That's such poor refereeing. Even see, the thing is, I think his name's Peter Walton he's on BT Sport. He does if a refereeing decision goes wrong. I see you two laughing, you know what I'm on about. He said, I would say VAR isn't there to re-ref the game. He also said VAR isn't there to get the decisions right. He said it's there to see if there's a clear and obvious error by the referee. How the VAR assistant, whoever it was in that Arsenal game, was watching that back and realised that's no penalty, I'll never understand. I think that just shows that it's not VAR the problem, it's the refereeing standard in the Premier League that's the problem. Go on, Ty.
With the whole referee opinion on BT Sport, like that's just PR, man. Like they're not gonna come on there and just straight up disagree with the referee's decision, are they? Because then that just makes the referees look bad. Well, I just think that whole thing's stupid as well. So I'm happy Sky Sports doesn't do that, because I just think it's ridiculous. Like you're not gonna like bring on a referee and then say, oh, has he got that decision right or wrong? And I think like he's not just gonna come on and say, oh no, that's wrong, and he's gonna like list a whole bunch of reasons why, because that can just bring more abuse to referees such as Mike Dean and stuff. But I just think it's a bit dumb, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame because, we were on the good run. Pepe was playing brilliantly. Lacazette, who was playing well. Saka, again, playing brilliant. But, it's just going to We have a tough run coming up now. We've got Leeds, City, Europa League coming up, Liverpool. It's not going to be an easy run for us now, but I think we have other problems as well. Just we spoke about how we had a good window of getting rid of a couple of players, but at the same time, that's like half of it done. We need the other half now, which is just getting good players to offer a bit of depth, because you can see what's happened to Tierney now. Tierney's been injured because he's played too many minutes, because I think before he's injured, Huey played the most outfield minutes of any other Arsenal player. So that's obviously causing injury. You see Thomas Partey is getting injured now because we're having to rush him back because we need him there, because without him, the quality is not there. And that's the problem. Smith Rowe, I think that's why you can see why we signed Odegaard now. You can't expect Smith Rowe, like 20, 21, whatever he is, to perform consistently, not to have that little burnout, fatigue almost. We needed Odegaard to be there. I mean, we probably should have got a left back in if we knew we were going to loan out Kolasinac, but I don't know, maybe he thought Cedric was just a good enough option there, but at the same time, Bellerin's not good enough on the other side.
Yeah,
so there's
that's
definitely
why
an
I'm
issue.
surprised you let Maitland-Niles go.
Yeah, I think that's just because he wanted to play a centre mid, because that's where we play against Spurs, and I think that's why I think maybe Southampton didn't get him, because they want an option to buy, they wanted a right back. Yeah, because obviously Kyle Peters is I think injured now, so I don't know. This squad depth with Europa League coming could definitely be an issue for us. Could definitely cause a couple of injuries just due to muscle fitness and all that, but not looking too good at the moment for us, even despite that good run, because we're 10th now. I think if either Leeds or Palace win today, they go above us as well, so we can drop down to 11th, which isn't great. But then also in the week, Liverpool got battered by City yesterday 4-1. Alisson, he would normally be Mr. Reliable for them, got 2 mistakes from 2 of his kicks. But at the same time, Phil Foden was unbelievable. Great goal from him. Sterling was good. Gundogan, even though he missed a penalty, scored 2 goals. Could have had a hat-trick, I guess. Rodri was good for them. Defensively, they looked solid as well, apart from that one Diaz mistake, which led to the Liverpool penalty. Obviously, Salah, the contact was there, but
penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can tell he was a bit dramatic.
The way he falls down.
Yeah.
If he falls down normally, he wouldn't get all this. I know there's a like not saying, but I know you could say, referees rarely give penalties for players that don't. Sometimes he gets pulled back, but he stays up. So maybe he does it dramatically so the referee sees. That's the only way you can look at it. But especially in the City, when the way he falls down, it literally looks like he's being shot.
Yeah.
A little touch on his shoulder and arm.
Liverpool are done. They're done, man. I said this before. I said that I have said, like, I know they've got injuries and stuff, so this could be a bit, far-fetched. But I have said that they're probably coming to the end of the cycle under Klopp. We saw it with Dortmund. Dortmund fell off as well. Like, we've seen it before because his system is so demanding. Like, you will see players fall off. We saw it with Spurs under Poch. Obviously, they didn't really achieve anything, but like we did see them drop off. We thought we would see it this season with City, but obviously they've just done an absolute madness. But yeah, you see it with all of these high pressing managers. You just see there start to be a burnout, and it's only natural because obviously where Liverpool have had barely any injuries over the last 3 or 4 years, like it just looks like there's a burnout. Like even Mane is not looking up to at the moment. Firmino, who I've never really rated anyway, but everyone else does. So yeah, him too. Obviously, Jota's injured, and I think when he went out, that was when they started to dip. So yeah, I think they just come to the end of their cycle.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't really understand is they got 2 signings on deadline day centre backs, but neither of them have played yet. So I don't know what he's waiting for with that, but I think City was the right time to have a natural centre back in there, even if it's just one of them next to Fabinho, to be honest. That's why I didn't understand why risk Henderson there again. Because when you have Trent there, Trent's still not a good defender yet, so you need someone quality next to him. And Robertson, like Van Dijk's normally on Robertson's side as well. It's like Robertson's not a bad defender, but he's still normally got that quality there next to him. So, and Henderson's not going to provide the same presence that Van Dijk does, obviously. So it'd be interesting when Klopp brings in these 2 new centre backs and start mixing.
He's probably gone for experience against City.
Yeah.
You know, City are on very good form. They're playing very well at the moment. Would you bring in a fairly inexperienced centre half from the Bundesliga, who are the team he played for at 18th or however low they are, into a game of this magnitude? I think he just went for players I can trust, and I'm not sure who their next game is. They'll probably play in them.
Leicester,
I
think.
Or maybe not then the game after.
Yeah, that is.
But I'm sure he'll integrate them soon. But I think when Van Dijk and Joe Gomez come back, then there might not be a need for them.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them.
Yeah, at least Liverpool 4th now. City look clear at the top at the moment. They don't look like slowing down at all. I mean, this is without De Bruyne as well, which is worrying. Elsewhere, let's see, PSG beat Marseille in their little El Clasico in France that they have. I think it was quite comfortable 2-0 win, but El Clasico in France, what joke is? Absolute joke is they are.
This league agenda. Oh my god.
It's not a league and agenda, man. It's just there's no agenda for a shit league like that. There's nothing. You just know it's good, innit? But yeah, Dortmund, I want to say lost to Freiburg 2-1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, I mean,
get JS7 out of the club, man. Bring him to the
get Haaland out of the club, man. United can have Sancho. We'll take Haaland.
Yeah, I don't think we'll say any of them.
Who are Arsenal taking?
I would take Giro. No, come on.
Take Berkey.
Yeah.
Nah.
Vitz or someone, man.
Oh, we need someone to. But yeah, Barca won in the end. They were 2-1 down to Betis when Messi came on, changed the game for them. Trincao scored a late winner for them. Real Madrid, can't remember what happened in their game.
Varane scored twice. I think they won.
They won 2-1 because they won 0 down. Varane scored twice, so he's got inform incoming. A good for everyone who plays League. Juventus won on the weekend. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Yeah, they did. Ronaldo scoring a goal. Then, other than that, I think AC Milan won quite comfortably as well, 4-0, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
Tomori's doing well out there, man. It's a bit worrying because he's probably going to leave. So, oh well.
If they win the title, we never know, to be fair. But yeah, we've got FA Cup action midweek. So, I'm happy Arsenal aren't playing. Gives us a bit of a rest, but gives me some football to watch, I guess. We've got some live breaking news here. City's round of 16 game against Mönchengladbach. We played in Budapest, and I believe that's along with Liverpool's round of 16 game against Leipzig as well, because obviously they can't play in Germany due to travelling restrictions.
Yeah, I think ours is being moved to Poland as well.
Fair
because
enough.
Of the strict Spanish restrictions and stuff.
Yeah, I think Arsenal's Benfica games get moved as well, because just we're allowed to travel there, but when we come back, it's 2 weeks of quarantine, so obviously that can't happen with our schedule. So be interesting how that develops as well. But yeah, that's all from this week. Have a nice.
Before I think it's time to talk. I think it's